Hello again and welcome back to another episode of the MylesHighClub Podcast, episode number 3. I am your host, Miles, and let's get straight into this. Now, originally, I had a few topics all pointed out for today. I was going to come in, I was going to talk about how I don't feel like I'm the only one that's confused about this whole lockdown and tiers and what you can do and where you can do it and who you can do it with. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stay in the house and keep it simple. I even had a whole plan to tell you guys about how I would have handled the lockdown. But a friend pointed out to me, he's like, Miles, after about 6-7 months, I think everyone's bored and sick and tired of talking about coronavirus and the effects and lockdown and blah, 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 blah. So I dropped it, deleted it out of my notes, weren't even going to talk about it until the other day when I was browsing the interweb, as people like to say, I was on social media and a story popped up. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard about this story to do with someone called Jeffery Toobin. You don't know that name either? Well, neither did I, and I still don't know who he is now. So apparently, Jeffery Toobin is a analyst for CNN and The New Yorker. So CNN news channel, The New Yorker, I'm sure it's a newspaper over in the States. Anyway, back to Jeffery Toobin and why I want to talk about him and related to COVID is because he was recently caught out touching himself / masturbating on a Zoom call. You heard me right, he was caught touching / masturbating himself on a Zoom call. Now, I've got a few layers to cover off in this, so I'm going to try not to stick on it. One, we are 6, 7, 8 months into this pandemic now, sir, which means you have been Zoom calling for at least 6 months. For at least 6 months, I will say that anyone who has a job or anyone that's working, anyone that's done anything has been in at least one Zoom call. Him being a professional, I assume he's been on multiple Zoom calls, probably a day. So he should know how Zoom works. Number 2, it was said that they were having a conference. I think it was a panel. So I think he was hosting or he was on a panel. They went for a break. I don't know how long these breaks are, 5, 10, 15-minute break. And when they came back, that's when he was caught. So he must have said to people, right, we're going to have a quick break. Talking about all this work, all that work talk or whatever they were talking about on this panel must have made him feel a type of way, or he must have seen someone in one of his little windows that made him feel some type of way. So when he called the break, he thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slap my jack. I'm going to beat my meat. I'm going to strangle the one-eyed snake. He, as I just said, he started whacking his meat, beating his meat on camera. Now, I haven't seen the video, don't want to see the video, not even too sure if there's a video going round of this, which makes me feel like this was something real and accidental. So I don't think he was being a perv and was just like, he just whacked it out on the Zoom call and was like, yeah, you like that? You see that, guys? He wasn't doing none of that. Everyone went for a break. He thought he was by himself. Now, point number 3, who doesn't turn off their camera on Zoom? But okay, if you're one of these people that has to keep your camera on, that's one. So you turn your camera off on Zoom. Maybe it's one of those ones where you don't turn your camera off because he's talking, so he needs to be seen. Listen, I turn my camera off to take a sip of a drink. I turn my camera off to sneeze. Sometimes I just want to stretch. I'll turn my camera off to stretch. If I hear a funny noise, turn my camera off and just turn and look where that noise came from. Bang, turn the camera back on. Another thing, I've got a laptop. So if there's anything I'm looking to get up to, I'll just shut your laptop, just pull your laptop down and leave it as that, because that's apparently what he must have done. Think about it, you're on a Zoom call. The people have said that they saw everything. So he must have like slowly tilted something down a bit thinking, oh, they're not going to see my face, even though your name comes up right underneath it, Jeffery Toobin. So apparently it's now called tubing. That is a thing. So like, you're probably thinking, what do you mean, Miles? Why is it a thing? So like, I'm just going to go on Zoom with my girl. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'll do some tubing with her. So, you see that video of that guy tubing? So yeah, so Jeffery Toobin has now become a verb for, I don't know, playing with yourself on a Zoom call. Guys, it's 6-7 months into this. You should not be getting caught out on Zoom. You shouldn't be getting caught out saying anything on a Zoom. Mute yourself and then unmute when you need to talk, straight back on mute. You shouldn't be getting caught out on video. No one in your background should be getting caught out on video. I don't know if you guys have seen, I think it's another American one. There's kids, it's one of those online classes. and some kid's mom walks in the background and just starts getting changed. She just got them swanging in the background. That poor kid, he's going to have to live with that for a long time. So come on, guys, there is Zoom etiquette. We should all know this by now. Turn your camera off. If your camera's on, be aware of your surroundings. Know what's happening behind you. If you need to do something, don't assume no one is looking at you. Even if you need to pick your nose, just turn your camera off, bite your nails, turn the camera off, get it out the way. Simple. Boom. But that's enough about Jeffery Toobin and what he's been up to. I'm imagining a lot of you, when I said I had an idea for how I would handle this, were like, oh, I want to hear how you would handle this, Myles. Before we get into this, a few things to get out of the way. 1, I am not a politician. 2, I am not a healthcare professional. 3, I'm very ignorant to certain things. So when this all came about, or I'm just going to pretend I'm the Prime Minister or President or whatever of wherever. I'm sat down, we find out this crisis is coming. To me, there was 2 ways to deal with this. Option A, Project A, Plan A, would have been downplay it all. Again, I'm not going to say downplay it. I'm just going to say call it something different. So the way I'm seeing it is, when it first came out, everyone just thought, oh, it's a new strain of the flu. It's a really strong virus. That's what I would have gone with. Option A, run with, it's a really strong virus. So you run with, guys, as we're leaving the winter, it seems a new strong virus has developed over the winter coming into 2020. We need to warn anyone with health conditions of a certain age that you need to, I'd say, either avoid being out in public or make sure you're always sanitized. Something along those lines to say, yo, everything's going to keep running normal. We've got a really super strong virus coming out now that we cannot stop spreading unless we lock everyone in their house and leave everyone in their house for a few months until it all dies out, and then we can all bring you back out into public again. But as you all know, that's not how viruses work. Otherwise, we probably still wouldn't be dealing with influenza. Again, remember, I'm not a professional, nor do I have a degree in like science or politics or whatever you'd need a degree in to be able to speak, speak informatively on this. There we go. Option 2, so option 1 is simply, you call it a virus, you say it's a really strong strain of virus. What they said originally, between the ages of 16 and 50 something or 60 something, you're completely fine, unless you have any underlying health issues. Option 2 would have been full, complete lockdown. And I don't mean this 3-month lockdown that we had, even though it fucking sucked. I'm talking a full on, everything's locked down, no one is leaving the house. Now, I would understand that as a politician, there is nothing you can do or say that will make everyone happy. It's just not going to happen. It's the way the world works. Another thing that you're not going to be able to do is force or make everyone abide to the new rule/law that you want to put in place. So it would have been as simple as this. Boom. There is a deadly new virus spreading. Now, it doesn't affect people from this age to this age. However, it does affect the elderly, anyone with underlying health issues, the really young, anyone with weak immune systems, all sorts of things like that. So because of this reason, we are choosing to put the whole country into lockdown. Yes, that's going to fuck up a lot of people financially, but we will get back on our feet. We had the Great Depression. We've had, I'm 27. I'm sure I've lived through 2 recessions. I remember one big recession, but humanity would prevail. Hopefully, I believe. Eventually, I can safely say eventually humanity would prevail, come back out on all this in a new flourishing world without this virus. And as much as people would have hated it, they're the only 2 options I see. Now, you're probably thinking, Myles, this is exactly what the government did for 3 months. And then that's when it all started going a bit topsy-turvy, didn't they? They were like, right, strict lockdown is removed. You can go here, but you can't go here. And you can't go here, but you can go here. And all of you lot can go there, but some of you can't be in the house together. Listen, I do not feel sorry for the government or the politicians, because if I was in that seat, I'd have been like, you're never going to please everyone. Everyone is always going to be upset. And a lot of the upset I saw anyway was a lot of niche. It was very niche. Like, I saw people that do like nails and eyelashes, and they were like, what? So people can go to the gym, but I can't do their eyelashes. And I was like, It's very niche, but they make a very good point. Think about the amount of people that go in and out of a gym compared to how many people would have gone to one person or a shop to get their lashes and nails done. Again, I don't think I've ever been in one of those shops, so I don't know how many customers they get. But I'm saying I don't believe it would be more than what a gym would see. And again, like a beauty salon, anything like that, a lot easier to clean and wipe down. The fact that you and a bunch of friends could all go somewhere and enjoy yourselves, but then your auntie or your mom couldn't come around your house. Like, listen, we've all lived through it. It is crazy. Currently, it was crazy. It still is crazy. It's only going to continue being crazy. However, I don't want to bring anyone down. I don't want to dwell on coronavirus for too long. So what I actually want to do is just, even though this is a worldwide pandemic, there are things that could be happening that are even worse. So I have a list of, I'm gonna have a list and I'm just gonna read out to you some of the things that could be happening that, one, aren't happening right now, and two, don't ever happen in England / the UK. So tornadoes. We could be a country or a city that is ravished by tornadoes. Again, coronavirus is happening everywhere, and there are tornadoes that aren't going to stop for coronavirus. So just imagine that you're stuck in your house, you can't leave your house. Next thing you know, your house is in midair, swirling around. Unfortunately, you're not going to go to you're not going to go to Oz and land on a green witch. You're probably just going to get ripped to shreds. So there we go, guys. At least we haven't got a tornado to deal with. What else? A hurricane. Yeah, we do not deal with hurricanes over on this side. I think that's more the tropical. So again, we don't have to worry about any hurricanes. A drought. We do not have to worry about a drought in England. Even in the middle of the summer, we could have the hottest summer ever and there would still be no concern for a drought, because it is UK law that regardless of what season you're in, it needs to rain at least, 9 millimeters every 3 to 4 weeks. It's just the way it is. I've seen a lot of people saying we had a great summer this year. Did we? Think about it. I know a lot of people were locked in. You was all locked in your houses. You probably spent a lot of time in the garden. But I feel like summer came in stints. It was like 2 weeks of summer, then rain. 3 weeks of summer, then clouds and rain. And like another week of summer. And that's, to me, that's what I saw from the summer. Anyway, so droughts we haven't got to worry about. Wildfires. Heart goes out to, I don't think they're still dealing with it. They might be in LA, but LA and Australia, I know they had some crazy wildfires earlier in the year. Again, while coronavirus is going on. So these are all the things that we are avoiding. A typhoon, no idea what a typhoon is. I just Googled natural disasters. Mud flow, depends where you live, but here, for me, in the West Midlands, Birmingham, I ain't got to worry about no mud flowing anywhere apart from like down the steps in my garden. A blizzard. We are vastly approaching winter. It's currently autumn. We are approaching winter. Now, a blizzard could happen, but in my 20 years on this planet, I ain't never seen a blizzard, although I think England's just cold anyway. I don't see how it could get any colder. Again, that is not a challenge, Mother Nature. I think you're doing an amazing job with what you're doing with the UK at the minute. You just keep us where we are. We don't need anything new like a blizzard whatsoever. Imagine coronavirus, guys. Just imagine coronavirus. And then imagine looking at your window and seeing 3 foot worth of snow. Like, one, you can't go anywhere. Now you physically can't go anywhere. Plus you still need to go shopping to get your essentials. People still need to go to work. Listen, in other countries that are used to blizzards, they make it work. We get hardly any snow, and depending on where you live, you will see it shut down. If you don't believe me, go to London when it snows. Go to London when it gets too cold. I remember, was it snowing? I don't think it was snowing. I just think it was really cold in London. The DLR stopped, which is one of their tubes, just stopped. Worst thing is, it stopped with the doors open because apparently for safety, they can't keep the doors closed. So it stopped. Something to do with the tracks had frozen over, so they had to wait, and they left the doors open in the middle of the fucking winter. Hold on, let me calm down. They left the doors open in the middle of the winter. And when I tell you, I nearly froze to death. I was doing star jumps, and you probably think I'm joking. Anyone that knows me knows I am not joking. I was doing star jumps, trying to rub my body to get some heat up. It was the worst. So I can only imagine just how much worse things would get with a blizzard. And finally, because I feel like I've gone through all of them, if not most of them, volcanoes. Could be wrong, as far as I'm aware, there are no volcanoes in the UK. If they are, they're all dormant, asleep, dead. cannot erupt whatever happens. Imagine that. Imagine coronavirus. You're trapped in your house. You haven't gone anywhere. Whatever survival kit you people have in their house is whatever you have in your house. I have a flashlight, a knife, kitchen knife, and some rope somewhere, I think. I'm looking at my garage right now, but I assume that would be my survival kit. So just imagine dealing with coronavirus. You can't leave the house. You can't be too close to people. Boom. Volcano erupts, smoke everywhere, lava pouring down. Not like the film. Apparently lava moves a lot faster than the actual volcano film. But imagine dealing with all that and coronavirus. The one thing that's got me thinking, this is where you're going to be in the mind of Myles now. If something like this did happen, so natural disaster, or I don't know, I won't say England because I believe whatever you put into the universe happens, but another country invades another country and shit kicks off over there. Would social distancing, you're probably thinking, Myles, you're talking shit. Listen, would social distancing still be a thing? Huh? You know what I mean? Like, a volcano goes off, everyone flees, social distancing's out the window, you get to a border or wherever you're trying to flee to. It's just, so guys, as shit as things, I shouldn't say shit, as down as things are looking, see the positive, that wasn't a positive flip at all, was it? But as down as things are looking, just remember, it could always be worse. And that's my positive message for this episode. Hopefully it cheers you up, thinking about all the things that other poor bastards have to go through and not us. So, another thing I wanted to talk about, sticking-ish with the lockdown, but moving away from it. I did say I didn't want to speak about politics and talking about things that you can and can't do. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because I'm a hypocrite for it when you hear. When I explain it, you'll see why I'm such a big hypocrite. I don't want to go out drinking. I don't care. Pubs can close for all I care. Pubs can close, gyms can close, bars can close. Cinemas closing hurt me because it meant there's not as many new movies getting pumped out as there once was. But yeah, with all these, I don't know what you call them, but Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus, with all that I've got it in the house. As long as the internet's working, it is fine. One thing I am missing on, zoos and safari parks. I was watching YouTube last night and I went down one of those YouTube black holes, which is basically, if you don't know what a YouTube black hole is, it's where you watch a video on YouTube and then you get so stuck on that video, you either just keep letting videos play or you're just going through the suggestions and you just clicking and you end up going from watching, I don't know, football highlights or whatever people watch to some deep, dark conspiracy about some African country and the real story behind Wakanda being based on a true story or whatever. So yeah, I went down a deep, dark hole looking at safaris and zoos. Then I started seeing about a bunch of zoos are possibly closing. A bunch of zoos were starting their own GoFundMe so they can actually stay afloat and feed the animals. And it just made me think, I really, really want to go to a zoo or a safari park. Safari park preferably. You can social distance, stay in the car and just drive around enjoying the animals. And that's what made me realize how much of a hypocrite I am, purely because I love animals. I love most animals. I know they say that you can't kill a whole species of animals because it would affect the whole. Listen, get rats the fuck out of here. I can't stand rats. Hate them. The thought of a rat actually creeps me out. The sight of a rat, the sound of a rat. No. Fuck rats. Again, I couldn't tell you why I feel this way about rats. I've never been attacked by a rat. At school, when I used to walk out, we used to have like I think most schools probably had two different ways you could leave the school. The one way we would leave the school would lead onto a main road. We had like a path with bushes on one end and then bushes and a field on the other end. And I'm not lying to you when I say a 4-foot rat, it was Splinter. It was most likely Splinter. If it weren't Splinter, it was one of his nephews or cousins. This rat come running across the path in front of me. Now don't mind, I'm back in school, so this rat was like a few inches shorter than me. To say it was school time, it was bulky, like it had just beat up a few cats. It had a bag, so I think it had just previously like robbed a different school kid and was running away from it. This rat was fucking huge. And since that day, I was like, I don't think I like rats. And then, like, you know, when you watch things like I'm a Celebrity, Fear Factor, and you've got to put your hand in a hole for rats, so you've got to line a coffin for rat. No, listen, I'm not selfish, but let me just tell you this now. If you are ever in a situation with me and rats are involved, don't expect any help. It's as simple as that. And I believe honesty is the best policy. I've had this conversation with my friends before. I used to tell my friends before, I was like, if we were out somewhere and like a rabid dog comes and attacks us, I'm not saying I'm not gonna help. I'm just saying don't expect me to help. Exact same situation with the rats. Let's say I'm a celebrity and all 10 or 12 of us are in the jungle. First bush to control, Miles, come up. Miles, because it's the first one, we're gonna make it nice and easy for you. You're gonna get 12 stars, feed the whole camp a slap up meal by Miller and Carter, whoever does their food for them. All you have to do is lie in this coffin. And for every minute you lie in the coffin, you will get a star. So you got to lie in there for 12 minutes. I'll be like, what's gonna happen in there? We're gonna drop some stuff in there. Right, worms, cockroaches, I can deal with all that. What else are they putting? What, like slugs, lizards, snakes and lizards. Come on over. I'll speak parcel tongue. I'll chill with the snakes. Please do. But rats, I'd say no. As soon as they say rats, I'd be like, no, I'd be like, I'm not getting in. Like this trial is not going to start. And I know what some of you at home are thinking. Oh, you can't do that, Miles, because then everyone at home will always vote for you to do these because it'll be funny to watch. I'm like, it won't be funny to watch because there will be nothing to watch. You know what I mean? Like, no. As soon as they say, Miles, they've picked you again, I'm like, nope. I'll be like, you either pick someone else or you need to find a new segment to stretch to make up that hour of your show because I ain't getting in nothing with no rats. The thoughts of it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked thinking about those fucking disgusting creatures. Zoos and safari parks and social distancing. So the reason why I'm a hypocrite is, one, I love animals. But two, I also love zoos and safari parks. Like, I'm the biggest fan of any animal documentary, starting with David Attenborough's. Anything David Attenborough talks over is always going to be top. But any kind of animal documentary, whether it's on animals, mammals, insects, insect documentaries are some of my favorite documentaries to watch. Some of you probably thinking, oh, creepy crawlies, better than a rat. I will watch a 5-hour documentary on every species of spider, ant, slug, praying mantis, whatever. I will sit there and watch it and be fascinated by it. But when you do that and you watch things like David Attenborough, you watch them documentaries and they tell you this lion travels 70 something miles a day for exercise. And I'm like, you know how far 76 miles is? That's like from Birmingham to, I should have done research, but that's from like Birmingham to a far place away, 76 miles away, you know what I mean? Drive 76 miles an hour, it would take you an hour to get from Birmingham to your destination. Just imagine that. And then you go to like a zoo or a safari park and you see them walking around, pacing up and down in such it's such a confined space. It's literally jail. It's jail. There is no difference between jail for humans and zoos and safari park for animals. The only difference is the staff might treat them better. The animals I'm talking about, not the police and the prison guards. TVs, movies, documentaries, I don't know what you have to watch to know that in prison, those people aren't treated like humans. Regardless of what they've done, this can be a subject for either later on or another video talking about my animals, but it's like a jail for them. They're locked up in a confined space. They get locked up somewhere else when it's nighttime, when they have to sleep, and they get fed at certain times. And like, you know how much of I don't know, it's not demasculating because not all lions are males. Demeaning, maybe. That's the word we'll stick with. Now, demeaning it must be. Think about this: a lion, big ass lion. You're used to being out in the wild, in the savannah, chasing down gazelles, the thrill of the chase, and sinking your teeth and claws into some fresh meat, some African zebra, delicious. And then for whatever reason, maybe hunters come and they effed you up, so you have to get rehabilitated, or you get in a bad fight, so they come over and they're like, oh, let's intervene with nature, let's take him to a zoo. I know a lot of you are thinking, Miles, you're being pampered. Yeah, I don't think they are. Like, they ain't getting that African good food from the African nature reserve. They're getting Tesco slabs of meat. Again, that's not true. I'm just saying this, so don't hold me to it. I don't know where they get their food from, but it's not the same. Now, a great game changer would be all these safari parks, just fence off the whole safari park, maybe give them some more, not even maybe, give them some more space, tear down all the enclosures on the inside. Take all the staff, sorry if you work in a zoo or safari park, sack them or hire them as security just to stand around the perimeter. And literally you should just have a gate and you should just be able to drive in. And I know what you're thinking, but Myles, I don't want my children to see a lion ripping apart another. Yo, it's nature. I'm sorry, but it's nature. And your kids have got to learn the hard way sooner rather than later. Because I was in my 20s when I found out birds eat other birds. Who knew? Like, who knew? Like, I think it's because we live in England. So what we got? Pigeons, robins, blue tits, seagulls, ducks, geese. And that's about as far as my bird knowledge in the UK goes. Swans, herons. We've got those kind of birds. I'm sure all those birds eat fish and seeds and insects. The thought of a bird eating another bird, when I saw that on TV, boggled my mind. Another one, monkeys. Monkeys eat other monkeys. Why, to me, cannibalism in the animal kingdom is so bizarre, I could not tell you. It's just, monkeys eat monkeys. Did not know that. I think that was a David Attenborough one. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember watching it and he's talking about how this one pack of monkeys, I think they were either orangutans or they were chasing orangutans. I remember seeing an orangutan though. And these monkeys basically just flooded out these other monkeys, chased them out, cornered them, beat them up. And I was just like, monkeys eat monkeys? I just didn't know that. And cannibalism in the animal world is obviously not as frowned upon as it is in the human world. But yeah, so that's why I'm a hypocrite. Love animals. I think all animals should be free. I think all animals should be free. If an animal is injured for whatever reason, whether they got into a fight, flew into a tree, anything like that, oh, it's nature. As sad as that is, it's nature. Now, if you want to help one out, carry on, help it out, rehabilitate it, send it back into the wild. But to me, it's nature. This is how nature is. The strong survive. So I'm sorry. But yeah, I know what they say about zoos and safari parks and how that's the one thing I do like about them. They do protect some of them do protect endangered species. They do release some of these animals back into the wild. They do have breeding programs to actually help with more and more animals coming in. But we wouldn't need all that if humans weren't so trash. And it's literally as simple as that. Humans are trash. Trash, 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 trash. I'm part of that list as well. I am a human. I have a rule where if I'm outside the house, if I see an insect like a fly, a spider, anything like that, I let it be because it's in nature, it's doing its own thing. Soon as that insect or animal crosses the border of my home, all's fair in love and war. Be prepared to be attacked with whatever I have close by. And depending on the size and speed of said insect/animal, I create some flammable situations in my house. I don't know if anyone else does this, but like, especially if it's in the bathroom, if I catch an insect in the bathroom or the kitchen where I tend to have a lot of sprays, I will make a cocktail. I'm like, boom, window cleaner. And then like a Jif, degreaser, air freshener. I will pull 4 or 5 aerosol cans out and just spray the shit out of these prehistoric looking insects and then get a tissue, wrap it up, down the toilet and flush. I never put it in the bin because I'm slightly paranoid that they're not dead and they may either A, come back and seek revenge on me, or B, escape, go and get their friends and family, then come back and exert their revenge on me, which I don't want none of. So that's why everything gets flushed. But yeah, I just feel like I want to go on an African safari or anywhere that has wild animals, anywhere that has their own nature preserve. I'm talking like an actual wild space. They're wild animals, they're not fed, they're not looked after. Well, they are looked after in the sense of we keep them in this massive, massive enclosure that stretches for miles. We keep them safe. We keep them safe from poachers and hunters and any dickhead that thinks, oh, there's a pack of lions over there, let me try and go and get a selfie and get nyam up by a lion. But there you go. I want to go on one of them. I want to go on an African safari where it's just me, like 3-4 other people, no more, 3-4 other people, a couple of people, and Ngungwe and Bubumtu. They're my African tour guides. I don't want no James, Nick, Carol, Susie. Nope, I want Ngumwengwe and Ngumbumtu. I want them to take me on a tour. I want them to be like, we used to live over there. We used to have to run all the way over there for water. I want someone that knows it like the back of their hands. I want one of them guys that jumps off and's like, yeah, come here. They were here a minute ago. They went over to the north. There is 5 of them. I want the real deal. I'm sick and tired of going to zoos and, hi, so this is Barry. He's a seahorse. Shut up. You're not called Barry. What kind of fucking seahorse or sea lion's called Barry? No, I want a real life. Like, I want the experience where I feel scared. Let's be real, no one feels scared in a zoo. I'm never scared in a zoo. You don't feel scared at a safari park. You'll feel nervous. I won't lie. When I'm driving through a safari park, I must click lock door at least once every 10 seconds, depending on what reserve I'm in. But as soon as you read it, lions coming up, lock your doors, shut your windows, lock. And then as I drive in, lock. And then every time I see a lion, it's just lock. Just make sure this shit is locked. You've probably all seen the video, I don't know where it is, of these people driving and the lion walks up to the car door and then bites the car door handle. And oh my God, my life. My life flashed before my eyes and I wasn't even in that car. I seen that video and all the thoughts of what that lion could do flashed before my eyes. And there's another video in, I want to say China. I'm definite it's an Asian country. I'm going to say China to play it safe. Where, I don't know how true the story is, but I'm going to tell you the story that I saw with it because it's a fascinating story. Car driving through, I think it's like a nature reserve in China. I don't know what they, safari park or whatever, but it's something like that. And they're driving through. And in the car, an argument breaks. You don't hear any of this. You just see the car there. An argument breaks out. So then when the argument breaks out, the car stops in the middle of this animal reserve. A woman gets out the car, walks all the way around to the other side. I don't know what she wants to do. I don't know whether she's looking to argue, whether she's trying to pull her out the car and start a fight. Basically, as she does this, in the background of the camera, all you see is a tiger come out of nowhere. This tiger comes out and snatches this woman like it's... You know how strong some of these animals are? It literally bites her, pulls it off, she's gone. Now, the second woman who must have been arguing with her jumps out the car and runs after her. Once again, I explained this earlier on. Depending on what situation we find ourselves in, unless I say to you before or while we're in the situation, yo, I got your back no matter what, don't expect any help. If me and you are arguing, especially if we're arguing, I'm petty, but if we're arguing and you decide to jump out the car when we're in an animal reserve and then you want to get taken away by a tiger, it's kind of on you. Probably thinking that's cold, that's on you. Whether you're a friend, family member, girlfriend, stranger, employer, employee, whoever you are, if you're in that car with me and you choose to walk out the car, I'm gonna lean over and shut that door because I know what's out there. Now, if you get eaten because you couldn't get back into the car because I shut the door, I still don't feel like that's my fault. You shouldn't have got out the car. It's your own fault. Like, no argument is that deep where I feel like in the middle of a tiger enclosure, especially, I don't even know if she could see the tiger, I'm just gonna jump out and argue. But the twist in this story, or from what I read about the story anyway, is the original woman who got out the car and got dragged away, she didn't die. The woman that jumped out the car to go and help her, she ended up dying. Now, I'm gonna say that one more time. The idiot, the stupid idiot that got out the car in a tiger enclosure didn't die. The person who got out the car to go and help this stupid idiot ended up dying. You hear what I'm saying, guys? This is why, depending on the situation and how we get into this situation, more importantly, I'm just not confident enough to say that I'm 1,000% going to help/defend you in this case. And that's just the way it is. But if you're my friend, if you're someone that knows me, we're lucky/unlucky because we live in England. And as I mentioned earlier, we don't get any of that, is it exotic? We don't get any of those natural disasters due to not having exotic weather. So thumbs up there, that's something to be happy about. But we also don't get the exotic animals. And I don't know about you guys, but in England, what was the most exotic wild animal in England I've seen is between a hedgehog and a badger. I'm being deadly serious. A hedgehog and a badger is probably the most exotic thing. Oh no, I've seen a grass snake. I saw a grass snake over somewhere called Himley Hall. It's like a massive field with a big, massive house castle on there. I remember being over there a few years ago, and one of my friends, Rory, was leaving us, and as he was leaving, he started making up noise and then sent us a video. And he sent us a video because he saw a snake just, like, I think it's a grass snake, just slithering up the pathway. And I was like, oh, but I didn't see that with my own eyes. So, but yeah, the most exotic animals I've ever seen are badgers and hedgehogs. I'll let you know the kind of wildlife we have over here. And I know some of you probably thinking, Miles, what do you want? Do you want tigers, lions, jaguars, and all this to be? Depends on where. Like, I live in Birmingham, so I don't ever think, if we did have those kind of exotic animals, I don't think I would need to worry about lions and tigers. That's more countryside. But yeah, in the countryside, why not? I don't get out my car in the countryside. Bring me some lions, some exotic birds. Insects I'm not that mad at. We don't have that. Well, we do have a lot of insects. As far as I'm aware, we don't have any insects that can kill us. Places like India and South America and Australia, you lot have got you've got some arachnids. You've got some arachnids. You've got some snakes. The fact that you can say I live in a country where we have the world's most dangerous snake, lizard, spider, way too much. I'd draw a line there. But no, I would appreciate some exotic animals in this country. And I think it would just make everyone a lot happier knowing that there's a tiger mountain behind your house, or if you go down south onto the coast, you can see some dolphins and sharks and all sorts of fun shit like that on there as well. But there you go, guys. That's a nice stream of thought from myself about the animals and the situations we live in. Moving on to another topic that I wanted to talk about. I mentioned earlier that humans are trash and humans can't be trusted. And the biggest example I saw of that was an article. Again, I saw this on Twitter. So it was an article that was shared by The Guardian as well. So the only reason I went with this is because The Guardian spoke about it. Now, all the conspiracy theories out there, yes, I understand that you probably can't. It's a catch-20. It's a catch-22. Like, people say you shouldn't believe the media, but you should believe the media. Just like you shouldn't watch the news because of all the shit they talk, but you should watch the news because it is the news. And there might be something useful in there. I do this with my newspapers. So The Guardian, as far as I'm aware, is one of those newspapers that has reliable information, unlike Daily Mail, The Sun, unlike the tabloid newspapers. So it says the original headline that made me research this, I'm going to read this from the tweet. The Metropolitan Police have decided not to routinely release body cam video footage after internal review showed officers displaying poor communication, a lack of patience, and a lack of de-escalation before the use of force is introduced. Again, I'm not one of these people that reads the headline or sees the headline and then runs to the story. I will click into it, I'll go and search it just to make sure I can find out what's going on. So, the information that I've managed to gather from this is Scotland Yard has come forward. Well, Scotland Yard is now saying in leaked documents, so let me start there. These documents are leaked, so it hasn't been officially said by anyone, but these are documents that have leaked and got into the hands of the public, so it's all out there for us to see now. But Scotland Yard has said that they are going to stop routinely releasing footage of controversial footage. I'm not going to try and spin this to make anyone look bad, so they're only saying controversial footage, which means if the footage, to me, how I understood that means if the footage isn't controversial, i.e. there is no way in hell you can say the police did anything wrong in the footage, they're still going to release them. If they have footage that may be deemed controversial, so again, they're thinking, oh, you shouldn't really have done that, or that's not quite legal, or there are other ways to handle this, or there were like another 3 steps you had to have done before you escalated it to here, they're going to stop showing them. This is why, again, if you are or if you have family members or friends in the police force, don't get too triggered, but this is why it's fuck the police. It always has been and it always will be. Now, this isn't fuck the police from a racial side of things. Tell you why. Hold on. Yes, as far as I'm aware, I've never been racially stereotyped by police. I've been pulled over twice by police. Both are my fault. Once I was speeding, come flying over the roundabout. The police were there, pulled me over. Luckily, they didn't have one of their speed cameras to know how fast I was going, so they couldn't prove I was speeding, which they shouldn't have told me, because back then I was a new driver, so I probably would have snitched on myself and said I was speeding. The second time, without getting into too much detail, I was in Stourbridge with a bunch of friends. Something happened in Stourbridge that meant we all needed to get in my car and drive somewhere to try and look for someone. Just have a chat. I was trying to look for someone to talk to them. And as I'm driving, police pulled up. Police are behind me. So I went into panic mode because I'm not proud of this. I had been drinking and I was now driving. I used to be a terrible drink driver when I was young. I just don't drink at all anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But I was drink driving, so I believe I was definitely under the influence. So I saw the police behind me, so I did what anyone else would do in that situation, panicked. Didn't even indicate, just took a hard left down the next street. This is where I went wrong. As soon as the police went past, as soon as I saw them in my rear view go past, I reversed out of that street, drove off the other way. Couldn't have been 10, 15 seconds later, pulled up behind us. Now, as soon as they pulled up behind me, I think, who was I with? I was with Rory, Mitch, I can't remember who else I was with. I remember being with Rory and Mitch because they're vital to the story. Just before we left, Rory was at a kebab shop, so we had a kebab and a can of Coke. So we've seen the police pulling up behind, we've seen the police lights. As soon as I've seen the police lights, I'm like, yo, Rory, give me your food. Eating Rory's chicken, drinking some of his Coke. The police come up behind me. I always laugh at this. I slowed down, the police are still behind me. I wound down my window and was like, yo, come round. I'm letting you go past. They flashed their lights. I was like, oh shit, I think they're after me. So they've pulled up. As they pulled up behind me, I've got pennies in the car. I'm sucking on this penny like it's a gobstopper, like there's no tomorrow. Police comes to my window. Oh, where are you coming from? Stourbridge. Why are you in Stourbridge? I've just come to pick my friends up. They rang me saying that they couldn't get a taxi, so I've come to pick them up. So, oh, why are you driving that way, then driving this way? I was like, oh, I dropped a friend in that street, and now I'm just gonna drop everyone else back. She's like, oh, so can you step out the car, please? I was like, yeah. So as I'm stepping out the car, we'll spit the penny out, walked around the other side of the car, and they're talking to me like, oh, we're gonna do a breathalyzer. And Rory has gone Mars, yeah? Out the passenger window, he's giving me a can. So I'm drinking this can of Coke. Policeman's gone mad. He's like, oh, don't drink that. I was like, yeah, I'm thirsty. Obviously, whatever you put in your mouth can fuck up the breathalyzers, can't it? So I'm there trying to drink the Coke. They took the Coke off me. It was like, right, we're gonna ask you to sit in the back of the police car. So I'm like, fuck's sake. So I've done as much as I can now. Whatever happens from here happens. Sat in the back of the police car. Out of nowhere, I hear the back door. I hear the door open again. I look to my left and it's Mitch. And I'm thinking, why are they putting Mitch in the car? They're not. Mitch was just slightly drunk and thought, I'm going to keep Miles company. So he's opened the police door and he's gone to sit in. And the policeman's like, what are you doing? He's like, no, you can't sit in there with him. He needs to be by himself. And I was like, good try, Mitch. That's a real friend. Huh? You ever been put in the back of the police car and your friends tried to willingly get in there with you? If not, you need to get yourself a friend like Mitch. So pick up yourself for that one, Mitch. So I'm in the back of the police car. Tell you about the breathalyzer. I was like, blow as hard as you can. Yeah, right. Blow as hard as you can. So I'm there like this. I'm like, he's like, you need to blow harder. It's like harder. So I'm blowing hard. And then all of a sudden, the thing goes off and makes a noise. And that's in my head. I'm like, shit, there we go. It's made a noise. And I'm drunk. I'm going to get arrested. And they're going to take my car off me. I'm going to get grounded. Yes, as an adult who can drive, I was still concerned that if I got arrested, I was going to get grounded. Like, I'd have got arrested, locked up. And then the day I came out, my mum wouldn't disown me, but she would have grounded me as of whatever age I came out at. So it blows. And they both looked at me. And was like, you sure you had another drink tonight? I was like, ooh, is it a double bluff? I was like, I promise you I haven't had a drink. I was like, I've left my girls, come to pick these up and I'm going back there. They turned the breathalyzer around and showed me and it said 0.0.0. Yo, your boy blew clear. I was like, whoo. I was like, I told you I haven't been drinking. Got back in the car and skedaddled out of Stourbridge so fast. But that's my little drink driving incident. But yeah, apart from those two times, I've never been pulled over by the police. I don't feel like I personally have ever been discriminated against by the police. So I can't turn this into a race issue, even though I've seen it. I've seen it physically happen to others, and you see it in the paper and on the news, not just in America. It does happen over here as well. And I think the biggest issue with the police is humans are trash. And that is the best way to look at it. You can, there's a lot of things that are fucked up with the police. You can look at the origins of the police, especially in America. It was the runaway slave patrol. So literally there was law enforcement brought in just to stop slaves running away. And then it developed from there. The fact that it's a flawed and fucked up system. The fact that police have targets for the amount of arrests they make in a month or a quarter is beyond me. How do you have a target for how many people you need to arrest? And you're probably thinking, oh, Miles, they probably look at the number of crimes that have taken place. But that doesn't work, because if it says 500 crimes have taken place, does that mean you've got to make 500 arrests? Because what about if one person has committed all 500 crimes? Or what about if each crime was committed by 10 people? Remember, like I said at the start of this, I'm not a professional. I'm not the most educated on this, but I know some things. So the whole having target numbers and hitting the target for the amount of people you arrest is confusing beyond belief. Innocent until proven guilty. We all know that's a lie. If you are innocent until proven guilty, yes, you should be arrested. Yes, you should be questioned. I agree with bail to some point. Like, they are innocent, but just in case, until we get all the facts, we don't want you fleeing or leaving the country. That's as far into the system as I can understand. But the fact that they have target arrests doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The fact that prison/jail is meant to be rehabilitation, but it doesn't feel like people get rehabilitated in there. Like, it seems from people I know and from hearing stories and seeing stuff, I feel like when you go to jail, because of the way people are treated and the conditions that they're in, it doesn't actually make you rehabilitate. It just makes you more angry, especially at the system. So you just sat in there building up more and more anger around a bunch of other people who are just building up more and more anger. It's like a cesspool of negativity. And energy is transferable. It can't be destroyed or created, but it can be transferred. So you might go in there with a positive mindset, like, yeah, I'm just going to do my time, keep myself to myself, and come out. And actually, you're getting dragged down in all the negativity. You're probably learning on ways to make money. Like, you probably learn about new crimes being in jail than you would being out of there. To me, jail should be like school. It should be like, regardless. Listen, this is one where people get triggered, regardless of the crime. Believe me, there are some crimes that I believe are unforgivable. There are some crimes I believe some people shouldn't be forgiven for, even though that's up to whoever's affected. There are some crimes I believe you should never, ever, ever be released from. The death penalty, we'll save that topic for another day. Whether or not, one, do you agree with the death penalty? Do you agree with it, and do you think the UK should have it? We can do that on a whole nother episode. But yeah, the system just seems fucked and flawed. So that's one thing, that's the system. Next is the people that are in these uniforms, the people that are behind the badges, under the hats. Humans are trash. I'm not just talking about just police people. I'm talking about humans in general. Like, the reasons why humans are trash is because I don't feel like you can give humans a certain amount of power without them abusing it. Now, don't get me wrong. You can probably find 10 people who you could give all the power in the world to, and it would not change them for the worse. It would change them, but not for the worse. But you're thinking of a police force. Again, I don't know. Let me Google how many people are in the UK police force. How many people are in the UK police force? Let me see if I can get a number. So here we go. So as of the 31st of March, there were 123,171 police officers in the 43 police forces. Jesus. So 123,171. Do you mean to tell me if you gave them all power, you trust all over 100,000 different people to not abuse that power? What you got to think about is you put all these people in this power of position. You've got the first lot of people who are corrupted by the power. There's a bunch of people out there who think first of all, you've got the people who think they're doing right, but are doing wrong. You've also got the bunch of people out there who want to do the right thing, but are doing the wrong thing, thinking it's going to make it right. I just confused myself saying that, so I ain't going to try and repeat it. Hopefully you get what I mean. You've then got the people that get corrupted. So you've got people that probably go in there, good heart, good brain, good head on their shoulders, and a mixture of the power, a mixture of them seeing what their colleagues doing, and again, we can own up, a mixture of the way they're treated by the public probably corrupts them more into the whole, oh, you know what, F this, I'm going to do this my way, I'm in charge. I would put my house on it that every last person watching this has encountered police, and I guarantee you've all encountered those really nice policemen. Listen, I've encountered police that when they encountered us and saw what was going on, they should have arrested us and thrown away the key, and they were just like, yo, guys, move on and keep it moving. I was like, phew, thank you very much. And you've also seen the ones where you can tell it's a power trip. You can tell the power's got to their head. They don't care about anything that's going on around them. To them, they're the be-all and end-all. They're the boss. They're the top captain. And different people like that. And the issue is, you can't control all these people, and you don't know that about all these people. And then another one is this whole band of blue, the brothers in arms, whatever they want to call it. In any other job, listen, I'm not a road person. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a gang member. I'm not anything like that. I believe in minding my business. And in terms of the whole snitching, or what makes a snitch, to me, a snitch, and the definition of a snitch is someone who is not necessarily a gang, but for example, me and Jerome over here go and do a crime, and then I get caught and I'm like, no, Jerome did it, or Jerome was there as well. That's snitching. If I'm buying jewelry and someone runs into the jewelry store, bareface, robs the place and leaves, and police question me, and they're like, from these pictures, did you see who did it? Him. That's not snitching. However, I do my best to mind my business. I grew up in a household where my mum told me, don't bring the police to my house. I've had, they're completely safe now, but I had a friend get glassed when we was all on a night out before. Police came to the house there. Do you think my mum cared? My mum didn't care about anything. The only thing she cared about is, why is there two policemen stood at my front door? And that's my mum for you, ladies and gentlemen. Love you to pieces, mum, if you're watching this. But she was like, don't bring the police to my house. It was the one thing she used to say every time I left the house. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, don't bring the police knocking. Boom. And then another time when two of my friends at a party got stabbed. Again, I was there as a witness. The police were at the door. Come back. The police told my mum what had happened. They were like, your son's not in trouble. He was just a witness to this, and we just need to get his account, or we just need to know if he knows anything or what happened or the situation. My mum said the same thing. It's like, please shut my door. It's like, I don't care. Get him away from me. I don't bring him back. I was like, whew. Noted, mother. So I'm one of these people that I just avoid police whenever I can. I'm one of these people that when I'm driving, as soon as I see the police behind me, I'm nervous. I don't have anything in my car. I haven't got anything on me. I'm not on anything. I'm just nervous. As soon as I see them behind me, I'm just like, fucking police. And I know I'm not the only one that's like that. I know there's a bunch of people out there who are the same. Back to what I was saying anyway, it's just people. You can't trust people. People can't be trusted, and people can't be put into a position of power, especially when there's no one to police the police. Like, it's in my head, again, you're probably going to think, Miles, that would not solve it. I'm thinking about these things as I'm talking about it. There's two ways that you'd be able to fix the police force so that the police actually does serve and protect the people and follows the rules and doesn't get corrupted. Is one, you have police to police the police. Hold on. Wow. You have police to police the police. Okay, that makes more sense there. That's option one. How that happens, I don't know. Whether it's a private company, whether it's a government company, whether it's you defund the police or you drop the police, so the police force is no longer run by the government, the police force is now prioritized, and then you have a government police who's only there to police the prioritized police. It's like the army police. I don't know. The army have their own police, don't they? So that doesn't work. But you can see where I'm going with this. The police need someone to look after them and make sure that they're doing the fuck they're meant to be doing. And they need to be separate. And the reason they need to be separate is you can have someone high up in the police force, but he might be like, I don't want the police force to look bad, so I'm going to cover up as much as I can so that they don't think, fuck, or they don't think, where else is this happening? And then the whole police force gets looked at, which I can imagine happens. Corruption is everywhere. We're not just blaming the police. Corruption is everywhere. Or the second option, now bear with me, because I know we've seen what may happen in movies and TV shows. I'm just saying AI. Yes, robots. No, not AI, just robots. We don't want AI. We do not want robots thinking for themselves. You just need robots who are inserted with the laws and the rules. They know what's breaking the rules, what's not breaking the rules, how to follow it, and how to persist after people. That, I think, is the best and the worst option. Why is it the best? Because they're robots. So one, you're not putting any real lives in danger by being in the police, because obviously being police, your life is in danger when you go to some of these calls. So by being a robot, not in danger. Why is it the worst reason? I imagine building a robot and all these robots and the functioning of that is a little more expensive than the natural thing that is people giving birth, growing old, and then joining the police force later on. The other thing as well is compassion. How do you have compassion? Again, some policemen or police people might see someone on drugs, someone with a mental illness, anything like that, and they may think, you know what, we can't just tackle it with aggression. We know there's something wrong. We need a bit of compassion. With a robot, they don't have that. Like, you imagine robots at protests. You've got all these protesters angry, throwing bottles. I'm not agreeing with people throwing bottles at police, but people are angry. I'm not going to tell angry people what to and what not to do. So you've got that as one. But you've also got, just imagine like if the robots were just like, right, you've broke the law, boom, after him. And then they just start taking people down. So I think the only thing I've proved in this podcast is I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. I have the answers. They might not be the correct answers, but I have some answers on how we deal with this. But let me know if you guys have had any run-ins with the fuzz. What you guys think of the police. How do you fix the police and the judicial system, the fucked up system that it is, the broken system that it is? How would you fix these things? How do you make things better? I don't know. I have my ideas. Whether my ideas are good or idiotic, I'll leave that for you guys at home to decide. But I'm thinking to wrap up. I don't know how long. Let me double check how long I've been waffling on in your ears for now. Yeah, we're coming up to that sweet spot, the 1 hour mark. So before we go, I've had a few people asking me a few questions. I'm just going to address it on this one for you. What is the Miles High Club podcast, or what's the point of it? The whole point of this is it's a safe space for me to be unapologetically me. I can come here, I can talk all the things, the weird and the wonderful things I'm thinking about and how I'm feeling, my thoughts on things. Not saying I'm right, I'm just saying they're my thoughts, they're my opinions, and I'm entitled to them. You don't like my thoughts and opinions? For those that are listening to the podcast, I'm just displaying a middle finger to the camera. You can go elsewhere and swivel. This is a weekly podcast. I am going to try my hardest to put one out every week, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Consistency is key. This isn't something I've just started because we're in lockdown and I'm bored. It's not something that's going to end at the end of next year. Whether I have 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 followers and listeners, I'm going to be pushing this out one day a week for the foreseeable future, for as long as I want to. And believe me, I've got big plans, so I want to keep pushing this out. And for everyone asking about guests, am I going to have guests? Can you be a guest? Like I just said, this is my space. This is a space for me to be unapologetically me. So I do have some ideas about guests, whether it's starting a whole new show or whether I do actually just do like one-off podcasts where I do have some guests on there. It will all be sorted. Don't you worry about that. I've got it all worked out in my head. I don't want to tell you what my plan is. The plan I've got is in my head. It's a 5 to 10 year plan, but you know, fingers crossed, stick to it. It all goes well. This will turn into something more than just me sat in my cold, uninsulated garage on a charity sofa with some posters behind me. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and this is what we are dealing with at the moment. Again, it will all change. I am going to glow up. The glow up's going to come. The glow up's going to happen. There's no rush. Like I said, this isn't like a limited series. I'm here for the foreseeable future. So I've got time to glow up just like everyone else. I'm not just going to jump straight into my very first podcast with some 10 grand set design behind me or a studio. Oh, another one. For people asking why don't I just go to a studio? I don't want to. 1, I don't want to. 2, I told you in the previous episodes, I'm cheap, so I don't want to spend money where I don't have to spend money. 3, I have my own space. At the minute, it's a garage. No cars get parked in here. This will be turned into my office, man cave, club. So, like I said, give me some time. It's all going to come together nicely. And on that note, I'm going to leave you guys there. Again, I wanted to leave you with something positive, and I did not think about something positive to say. So all I'm going to say is, everyone out there, stay happy, stay healthy. If you're not happy, talk to someone. If you're not healthy, talk to someone. Either or, no matter what you're going through, talk to someone. There is always someone there for you to talk to. But for now, I've been Myles. This has been the MylesHighClub Podcast. See you soon.